the first 8 verses. 6 days before the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany, the home of Lazarus, whom he had raised from the dead. There they gave a dinner for him. Martha served, and Lazarus was one of those at the table with him. Mary took a pound of costly perfume made of pure nard, and anointed Jesus' feet, and wiped them with her hair. The house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume, but Judas Iscariot, one of the disciples, the one who was about to betray him, said, "Why was this perfume not sold for 300 denarii and the money given to the poor?" He said this not because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. He kept a common purse and used to steal what was put in it. Jesus said, "Leave her alone. She bought it so that she might keep it for the day of my burial. You always have the poor with you, but you do not always have me." This is the word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
I've been very fortunate in my life that I've never had to be the boss. I like it. I don't know what kind of a boss I would be. But there are 2 examples that I read about in an article that I'd hope I'd be somewhere in between. There's the example of SpaceX, Elon Musk company, where his idea of dealing with employees is use them up. Use them up. There are so many people out there looking for jobs that that is so competitive. These people are well educated professionals, and they are expendable commodities. Get them in there and use them and get everything you can from them. As Elon says, use them like ammunition. Once they're exhausted, discard them. Wow, there's no place to work. However, you've got to keep in mind, people really want to work there. The money is enormous to work for Elon Musk. But when you're there, boy, it goes to the grindstone. All in, all day long. And then there's Google. Now there's a different kind of thing. Google epitomizes the employee-friendly workplace. Huge benefits. They got this Wi-Fi system. They'll send a shuttle around and pick you up and take you from all the buildings there on the complex. You want to go from the 4th floor down to ground level, take the swirly slide that goes down instead of an elevator. Or if you're inclined, take a fireman's pole. They got one of those too. Have fun while you're there. Eat gourmet meals, and don't forget to go out and exercise every day, because that's required too. You'd sit back and say, "Man, I wouldn't want to lose that job." And that's right. That's the whole idea. But the thing is, Google, just like Elon Musk's company, expects you to do your job. And if you're not doing your job, well, you don't get to play on the playground anymore. So there's 2 views of how, the question, I guess, is, how devoted are you to work, and what does it going to take to make you to be devoted to work? The woman who wrote the article says psychologists are looking for the norm of work devotion. That's how we prove ourselves worthy of our job. How focused is our life on the job that we have to do? A lot of people identify themselves by their job. Bob the lawyer, Jack the mechanic, Paul the butcher, Mary the baker, Pastor Steve. You get identified by your job. But how much do we want to emphasize our devotions to our place of employment? This can go in other things as well. How devoted are we to parenting? That's a good thing to be, right? Devoted to being parents. Unless your kid's 14 years old, can't make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or pour a glass of milk by himself. Right? Doing everything. How about your hobbies? What's the norm of golfing devotion? How much time, money, and effort are you going to sacrifice to that on a regular basis? And how about this? What is the norm to your Jesus devotion? How much effort, time, energy are you putting into your devotion to Jesus Christ? Before we answer, let's consider the gospel. This is a story about a woman's devotion. John is making it very clear where Jesus is. He's in Bethany. Where was he at before with Bethany? He was with Lazarus' house with Mary and Martha, remember? And Mary sitting there listening to Jesus' teaching while Martha did all the work in the house, and she started complaining, Mary's not helping me. And Jesus says, Mary's chosen the better thing to do here. Next time he was in Bethany, Lazarus was dead. Been dead for 4 days. And Jesus says, Lazarus, come out, and he comes out of the tomb, a live man again. And that's another thing I want to make very clear here, is that this is the place he is. This isn't some other Lazarus. This is the Lazarus that was raised from the dead, the brother of Martha and Mary, and that they're sitting and having a meal together. Not a ghost, not some spirit. The man who was raised from the dead is having a meal. And while there, Mary comes in, and she has a jar of very expensive nard. And from what I've been reading about this nard, it comes from the Himalayan region. And they brought it, and to come all the way there, it was very expensive. Judas says 300 denarii, that's a whole day's wages. And she pours it on the feet of Jesus. And so fragrant was the aroma that it filled up the whole house. Nobody could ignore what Mary was doing. They could smell it. And she poured it on his feet, and then she wiped it with her hair. And you know the position she's in. She's down on the floor. She's wiping his feet with her hair. Fully devoted. But Judas, he feels he has a devotion too. He has a devotion to the poor. He's coming in and saying, what a waste. What a wasteful thing, pouring that out on his feet when we could be selling that and giving that money to help poor people. And John makes it very clear in his gospel writing what he thought of Judas. He cared nothing about the poor. He's nothing but a thief. Stealing money left and right out of the pockets, out of the common purse. I think actually Judas is scolding Jesus more than he's scolding Mary. For Jesus is allowing this to happen. He's the one that's preaching to us by going out and serving the poor and caring for those who are less than us. And now he's letting that expensive perfume being lavished on his feet. But Jesus tells him, leave her alone. She saved this for my burial. And this is the first indication in the Gospel of John that Jesus was getting ready to go and sacrifice his life for us. The plan was made from the moment Lazarus was raised from the dead. They could work around the man with his words. They could work around the minor miracles, as they would call them. But to raise a man from the dead, that was going to cause a problem to the religious establishment. So they planned his assassination. Don't think that Jesus' trial was not a setup. It was all a setup. So that his life would be sacrificed. So Mary shows her devotion, full devotion, giving her most expensive, one of her most expensive gifts, and places them on his feet. A lot of people wonder, how devoted must we be? Maybe that's what his question was, Judas's question. How much devotion do we need to show? How do we balance out our extravagances and our mission? I was sitting playing with this sermon. I think I woke Bev up messing around with it. Because I started tinkering with a song. Guess mine is not the first heart broken. My eyes are not the first to cry. Not the first to know there's nowhere else to go but to you. I'm hopefully devoted to you. You know I'm just your child who's willing to sit around and wait for you. But Jesus, can't you see, there's nothing left for me to do. 'Cause I'm hopefully devoted to you. But now there's nowhere to hide. I can feel your love inside, and I'm out of my head, hopefully devoted to you. Hopefully devoted to you. Hopefully devoted to you. Some folks, they say, fool, forgive him. But my heart keeps saying, don't let go. Just hold on till the end. That's what I intend to do. Yes, I'm hopefully devoted to you. I'm out. It is breakfast time. I'm sick. I couldn't hit the notes like she did, that's for sure. So how much devotion is the right devotion? The costly perfume, the wiping his feet with her hair. Devotion to Jesus is a good thing. But what spurs our devotion? What makes it positive? You know, I get complaints at times from spouses that say, My partner spends way too much time at church. Too much time with church projects. Too much time with church work. You're never at home. And that can be a bad thing. Because we got to have a holistic view of our devotional life. We need to have a full view that we need to spend time with our work, with our families, with our hobbies, and with God. Balancing it out. The thing is, we think that we need to express our devotion to Jesus on our terms. And that's not necessarily true. Because I have a Savior who has a way of interrupting every points throughout my day that I did not realize would happen. All throughout the day, Jesus prods me, moves me, and in those moments, whether I'm at work, whether I'm spending time with family, whether I'm here at the church, whether I'm drawing a picture, or some other hobby that I be going for a walk, Jesus shows up. And in those moments, I spend time with Him. The church has wonderful projects to do, wonderful ways that we can reach out to the community and take care of one another. And those are all great, and there are opportunities for us to serve. But they're not the only opportunities. It was there at a dinner party that Mary found a moment to lavish her love on Jesus. And we can do the same by holding the hand of a friend going through a bad period, by gathering up some clothes or some groceries while I'm out doing my stuff during the day, drop them off at community ministries. Visit someone just to share the day with them, to lift one another up, and let people know that Christ is in my heart, no matter what I'm doing. And your day will balance out, and God will be through it all, as we share our hope for a bright tomorrow in Jesus Christ our Lord. Praise His holy name today. Amen.
Amen.
Let's close today with our final hymn. Yeah, this is a good one. When we all, I emphasize all, get to heaven.